Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today is the divine appearance of Sri Advaita Acharya. So today we'll read this verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and then we'll discuss about Sri Advaita Acharya. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, 6th chapter, text 4. Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Srijati Adaha Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvara Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Srijatyada Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvara Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Srijatyada Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvara Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Srijatyada Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvara Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Srijatyada Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvara Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Srijatyada Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvara Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Srijatyada Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvara. Mataji. Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvara Mahavishnu, the resting place of the efficient cause. Jagat Karta, the creator of the cosmic world. Mayaya, by the illusory energy. Yah, who, Srijati, creates. Adaha, that universe. Tasya, his. Avatara, incarnation. Eva, certainly. I am this. Advaita Acharya, Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, the resting place of the material cause. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. We will also study the next verse also, which illustrates Advaita Acharya's position as the Supreme Lord. Advaitam harina dvaitat acharyam bhakti sansanat bhaktavatarang ishanktam Advaita Acharyam ashraya. Jai Shri Ram. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. So here, in these two verses, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explaining the real identity of Advaita Acharya. As we all know, when we chant the Panchatattva mantra, so Advaita Acharya's name is coming in Panchatattva mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So this is Panchatattva. The Lord has manifested in 5 forms. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavatarang Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Sakti. The Lord has manifested in five forms. Bhakta Rupa, Bhakta Swarupa, Bhaktavatara, Bhakta Sakti, and Bhakta. So, the Lord appeared as Bhakta Rupa, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, though he was the Supreme Lord himself, but he appeared as a devotee of the Supreme Lord to teach the process of devotional service. And same way Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also manifested as Bhakta Swarupa, Sri Nityananda. And Bhaktavatara, Sri Advaita Acharya. Bhakta Sakti, Gadadhar Pandit, and Bhakta Srivas Pandit. So, the Lord appeared in these 5 forms to propagate devotional service in this age of Kali, which is the only means to be delivered from this material world and attain the lotus feet of the Lord. So, Advaita Acharya, he is also Vishnu Tattva. Like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Advaita Acharya. They are all Vishnu Tattvas. Though Advaita Acharya appeared in a Brahmin family, of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, they all appeared in the Brahmin families. And they performed their duty as a perfect Brahmin, and at the same time they taught devotional service to the whole world by their own example. So here we see, before the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya had appeared. And he appeared in the district of Srihatta, which is now in Bangladesh, in a village called Navagram. So Advaita Acharya's father's name was Kuber Mishra, and his mother's name was Nabha Devi. Kuber Mishra had no children. So for a very long time, though he was desirous of having a child, still he was bereft of a child for a long time. In his old age, actually, he got the benediction to have a child as Sri Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya appeared from the womb of Nabha Devi in their old age. That's why when Advaita Acharya appeared, Kuber Mishra was very, very happy to see such a beautiful son who has appeared from his wife's womb. And he was very effulgent when Kuber Mishra went to see the baby son for the first time. He was so happy and astonished to see such a effulgent son who has appeared from the womb of Nabha Devi. Even the village people, who were also very anxious to see the son of Kuber Mishra, because he got this son after long time in old age. So all the village people, when they heard about Kuber Mishra's son, they all came to see the son of Kuber Mishra. And they were all very much surprised to see such an effulgent son who has appeared from the womb of Nabha Devi. So the village people, they were all talking that Kuber Mishra is very, very fortunate that he has got such a nice, wonderful son. And this son of Kuber Mishra will deliver Kuber Mishra's family. And when Advaita Acharya actually appeared, there was also the demigods were showering flowers from the sky to indicate that a great personality has appeared in the house of Kuber Mishra. And everywhere there was Jayadhvani. The demigods were shouting Jai Jai, because the Lord has appeared as the son of Kuber Mishra. So, the son of Kuber Mishra was none other than Mahavishnu. The Mahavishnu has appeared as the son of Kuber Mishra. That's why in this verse it states Mahavishnu Jagat Karta. The Mahavishnu, who is the creator of this cosmic world, cosmic manifestation. The same Mahavishnu who creates this cosmic manifestation through his external energy, Maya. The same Mahavishnu has appeared as Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya Ishvara. The same Ishvara controller has appeared as Advaita Acharya. So as we all know that Mahavishnu is the efficient cause of this cosmic manifestation. So Mahavishnu is the manifestation of Mahasankarsana. So when the Lord wants to create, then he manifests himself as Mahavishnu, lies in Kajalosana. And from the pores of the body of Mahavishnu, unlimited universes come out. And they float in the water of Kajalosana. But creation cannot take place in all these universes until the same Mahavishnu manifests again as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu and enters into each and every universe. Because in every universe there was darkness. So when Mahavishnu expanded himself into unlimited Garbhodakashayi Vishnu forms and entered into each and every universe, and Garbhodakashayi Vishnu also created water from his own body. And the universe, half of the universe was filled up with water. And then Garbhodakashayi Vishnu lied on that water, Garbha water. That's why he's called Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. The water came out from his body. And then creation takes place in each and every universe. And the first creation is Lord Brahma, who comes out from the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. A lotus sprouts from the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu and Brahma takes birth. Brahma is the first living entity who takes birth on the lotus which comes from the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And then Brahma creates, being empowered by the Supreme Lord, Brahma creates different living entities. So in this way, the universe is filled up by living entities. So, Advaita Acharya, so he is the same Mahavishnu who is creating unlimited material universes. And he is glancing over the external energy of the Lord, Maya Shakti, and impregnating unlimited living entities. So Advaitam Harina Advaitam. Isliye, that's why it has been stated that why his name is Advaita, Advaita Acharya. It has been explained in the next verse. Advaitam, because he is non-different from the Supreme Lord. That's why he is called Advaita. Advaita means no Dvaita, not two. Dvaita means two. Advaita means not two, only one. So, Advaita Acharya is non-different from the Supreme Lord Mahavishnu. He is not another person. He is the same person. That's why he is called Advaita. Not two persons, same. And why he is called Acharya? Because after appearing as Advaita Acharya, he propagates devotional service. So that's why it is said, Bhaktavatarang isantang Advaita Acharyang asraya. Acharyang bhakti sansanat. Who propagates bhakti, that's why it's called Acharya. Because Acharya is a person who performs devotional service himself, sets the example, and also propagates devotional service. He propagates devotional service and also sets example by following the path of devotional service himself. And since Advaita Acharya was propagating devotional service and at the same time following the path of devotional service, that's why he is called Acharya. In this way, his name became Advaita Acharya. So the name is very significant, that he is non-different from Mahavishnu, Ishvara, Supreme Lord, and also at the same time he is acting like a devotee, propagating devotional service and following the path of devotional service. So I take shelter of him, Sri Advaita Acharya. So before the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya had appeared. And though he appeared in Srihatta, which is now in Bangladesh, but his father, Kubera Mishra, after the appearance of Advaita Acharya, he decided to come and live near the bank of the Ganges. That's why Kubera Mishra shifted his residence from Navagram to Santipur, which is near the bank of the Ganges. And Advaita Acharya was given the name by his father, Kubera Mishra. There are another two names are there. He is well known as Advaita Acharya, but he has another two names. One is called Kamalaksha. He is called Kamalaksha. Kamal means lotus. Aksha means eyes. So the Lord Vishnu has lotus eyes. And because Advaita Acharya is none different from Mahavishnu, so he is also called Kamalaksha. And also, another name of Advaita Acharya is Mangal. Mangal means auspiciousness. Because he is all auspicious, because Lord Vishnu is the most auspicious personality. Even when Lord Vishnu kills someone, still it becomes auspicious for that person. Because the living entities are delivered by the auspicious hands of the Lord. And whatever Lord Vishnu does, that is for the auspiciousness of the whole world. So Advaita Acharya, he is none different from Mahavishnu, and he is also full of auspiciousness. He is all auspicious. That's why it's called Mangala. And all these names Advaita Acharya had became successful when he wanted auspiciousness for the whole world. Because generally people in this material world, they think of themselves. They don't think for the benefit of others. But when Advaita Acharya appeared, he saw that how people are wasting their time, wasting their energy, and wasting their wealth in useless things. Advaita Acharya saw that people, they are worshipping different demigods. They are wasting their time and energy by worshipping different demigods. And they are looking for wealth and some material profits, benefits from these demigods. That's why they waste so much of their wealth by gorgeous worship of demigods. And in this way, they want only temporary benedictions. So seeing all these things and seeing people, they are also wasting their wealth in material activities, like marrying their children, worshipping Kali, Goddess. So in this way they are wasting their money. So Advaita Acharya felt very sorry for these people. He thought these people have no information about devotional service of the Lord. As a result, they are wasting their time, energy and money, and in this way they are all going to hell, going to take birth again and again in this material world and suffer. So Advaita Acharya, he felt very sorry for these people. And as a result, he thought that my name, Advaita Acharya, will be successful if I can bring this Supreme Lord Krishna to this material world to propagate his own devotional service. And in this way, I will become the cause for the deliverance of this whole world. Then my name Advaita Acharya will be successful. Though Advaita Acharya was himself Mahavishnu, but still he wanted that the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is the source of all incarnations, let the Supreme Lord Krishna come to this material world and propagate his own devotional service and give his own prema to this people of this world. That's why Advaita Acharya, he worshipped this Supreme Lord. He worships Salagram Shila by offering Tulsi Manjari, Tulsi flowers, and Gangajal, the water of the Ganges. So the water of the Ganges and Tulsi Manjari, they are very dear to the Supreme Lord. This is the simple process of worship. if one has nothing, one cannot perform opulent worship of the Lord, at least he can worship the Supreme Lord by the water of the Ganges and Tulsi Manjari. And the Lord can be pleased very easily. So when Advaita Acharya was worshipping in this way, so he was shouting, being overwhelmed with the joy of devotion. Advaita Acharya was shouting the holy name of Krishna. And his chanting of the holy name of the Lord was so tumultuous that actually pierced the covering of the universe and went to the spiritual world. And that sound entered in the ears of Lord Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. That pierced through all the Vaikuntha planets and went to Golok Vrindavan, and Lord Krishna heard the prayers of Advaita Acharya. So, though there are many reasons of Lord's appearance, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, there are many reasons for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. One is Antaranga Karana, means internal reasons. Another is Bahiranga Karana, external reasons. So, among external reasons, though there are 3-4 reasons, external reasons of Lord's appearance as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because the Supreme Lord wanted to come to propagate Juga Dharma, propagate the holy name of the Lord and give Krishna Prema and teach devotional service to the people of this world. But the main reason among external reasons is the prayer of the devotee of the Lord. Krishna avatar ei mukhya hetu, the main reason of the appearance of Lord Krishna is bhaktara ichhaye avatare dharma setu. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that the Lord appears by the desire of his devotees. Because Advaita Acharya desired that let Lord Krishna appear in this material world, that's why Lord Krishna appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the main reason among external reasons that Advaita Acharya wanted. He desired the Supreme Lord himself to appear and propagate his devotional service and give his own prema, love of Godhead. So the same Advaita Acharya, when he was a child, his father came to Santipur, and his father was taking very much care of Advaita Acharya and wanted to educate him in the scriptures. That's why he arranged a tutor, Upadhyaya, because in those days there were no regular schools. The teachers, they had their own school. So the students would come to the house of the teacher and they will learn about the scriptures. So Advaita Acharya was going to one such teacher who was called Upadhyaya. And he was taking lessons about different scriptures. And then his own father Kuber Mishra also taught Advaita Acharya personally in different scriptures. But then after some time, both Kuber Mishra and his wife Nabha Devi, both of them left this material world. And when Advaita Acharya saw his parents have left this material world, he was very sad. And he went to Gaya. Like in a Hindu family, when the parents or forefathers depart, generally people, they go to Gaya to offer oblations, pinda, to the forefathers. Even Lord Ramchandra also went to Gaya to offer oblations for his father Dasarath. So Advaita Acharya also went to Gaya to offer oblations, pinda, for his parents. And during that time, he also went to visit different places of pilgrimage, like Prayag and other places. And then, when he came back from visiting the places of pilgrimage, then all other Brahmins in Santipur told Advaita Acharya to get married. Because he was alone, his parents had left. So Advaita Acharya agreed to their proposal. Then there was one rich Brahmin named Nrsimha Bhaduri. So he had two daughters, very beautiful daughters. Their names were Sri and Sita. Two daughters' names. One name was Sita Devi, another name is Sri Devi. Sri and Sita. Both were very beautiful. So Advaita Acharya married both of them, Sri and Sita. And Nrsimha Bhaduri offered many gifts with his daughters to Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya, while staying at Santipur, he also built a house in Sri Mayapur Dham, Navadip, because he wanted to come to Mayapur and associate with devotees there. Where there were many devotees living, like Srivas Pandit, Murari Gupta, other devotees were living there. So Advaita Acharya came to build a house in Sri Mayapur Dham, and sometimes he would come and stay there and associate with the devotees, and then he would read from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and speak to the devotees explaining the verses of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, Advaita Acharya himself was preaching the cult of bhakti among devotees, and they were all relishing devotional service of the Lord. But when Advaita Acharya saw the situation at that time in Navadvip, that's why he worshipped the Saligram Shila and called out to the Supreme Lord to appear. So the Supreme Lord, Krishna, by hearing the prayers of Sri Advaita Acharya, he appeared in Navadvip, in Sri Mayapur Dham, in the womb of Sachi Devi. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared at Sri Mayapur, that time Advaita Acharya was in Shantipur. But Advaita Acharya could understand that his Lord has already appeared. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, Advaita Acharya was very jubilant. Though there was no message given to Advaita Acharya, but he could understand because he was Mahavishnu, incarnation of Mahavishnu. So he could understand that the Supreme Lord Krishna has appeared in the womb from the womb of Sachi Mata. So he felt very jubilant. And in great jubilation, Advaita Acharya started chanting and dancing at Shantipur. So, why Advaita Acharya was doing this, no one could understand. That why suddenly he became very jubilant and he started chanting and dancing. But Haridas Thakur could understand because he was also living at that time in Shantipur. So he could understand that the Lord must have appeared. Otherwise, why Advaita Acharya would feel so much jubilation? And then Advaita Acharya, after chanting and dancing for some time, then he went to take bath because that was the time, lunar eclipse time, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. According to the tradition, when an eclipse takes place, people they take bath in nearby rivers or water reservoirs and chant the holy name of the Lord. So millions of people who are taking bath in the Ganges, and they were all chanting Hari Hari. So the whole universe was filled with the sound vibration of Hari. So Advaita Acharya also went to take bath in the Ganges, and he was also chanting the holy name of the Lord. And that time also Advaita Acharya gave charity to the Brahmins. That is also another system. In eclipse time, people take bath in the holy water and they also give charity. Even now also people follow this tradition. So Advaita Acharya also distributed charity among Brahmins. So no one could understand why Advaita Acharya was doing this. People were thinking maybe because of an eclipse, Advaita Acharya was distributing charity. But the main reason of Advaita Acharya distributing charity was to honor the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was not interested just for ordinary charity work, but he was distributing charity because of the appearance of the Supreme Lord as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Advaita Acharya, next day, he sent Sita Devi with various gifts to honor Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sita Devi came in palanquin with to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was called Nimai, his childhood name, as he appeared under the neem tree. And actually Sita Devi gave this name, Nimai, because Sachi Mata got this child after many children had died before. Of course, Vishwarupa was there, the elder brother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But generally people, they give not very good names to people, to children who come after many children are dead. So when many children, they die one after another, then the parents, they think, oh, we don't know whether this child will survive from the hands of Yamaraj or not. So they are very fearful. That's why they don't like to give good names to those children. So they give such names which is not appreciated by people. Like then people, they call the name of a beggar, Bhikhari, they give this type of a name, or Nimai. So this is referring to neem tree, and neem tree, people don't like to eat neem leaves or neem flowers, because that is not very tasteful. Though it is very good for health, but people don't like to taste neem. So they give this type of name. So Yama will not take them away. That is the intention. So Sita Devi actually gave this name Nimai to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Though his original name, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's original name was Vishwam, given by Nilambara Chakravarti. But this was the nickname, or people were calling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this name Nimai. So, when Sita Devi came and saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she saw that this child Nimai was very beautiful. And all the symptoms of a Mahapurush was there in the body of Nimai. And his activities were just like the activities of Lord Krishna. So Sita Devi thought that this boy was none other than the Krishna of Gokul. Only different color. Krishna is in color, and this boy Nimai was golden color. That was the only difference. So Sita Devi concluded and Krishna. seeing the bodily beauty of Nimai, she was very much surprised. And when she went back to Shantipur, she informed to Advaita Acharya. So this was a confirmation what Advaita Acharya had thought, that the Supreme Lord had appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without even getting any information. Advaita Acharya had concluded, so now the confirmation was coming. Sita Devi herself told Advaita Acharya that boy was none other than Krishna. So Advaita Acharya was very happy to hear this. And Advaita Acharya understood that my Lord has appeared to deliver this the living entities of this material world and propagate devotional service. So the Lord has heard my prayers. That's Advaita Acharya was very happy. But he himself did not come to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was waiting that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will grow up, and then he would come or he would call him to see. Advaita Acharya was waiting for that day. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gradually grew up and performed his childhood pastimes. And then he got married, then he went to nowadays Bangladesh, and he delivered some devotees there like Tapana Mishra and others. And when he came back, his first wife had left. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu married again. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to also go to Gaya because his father also left this material world. So after returning from Gaya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited the symptoms of bhakti. So before he was exhibiting scholarly his scholarly effulgence, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was exhibiting as a pandit. So he was teaching students and showing his scholarship by giving different meanings to one word. He would give different meanings. So in that way, no one could actually argue with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was so scholarly. So people who understood Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nimai, they understood as a great scholar. But when he came back from Gaya and he exhibited his symptoms of devotion, then people were surprised. They thought, what happened to Nimai? He was a different person. He was not the same Nimai Pandit who defeated Kesava Kashmiri. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited symptoms of bhakti, then the devotees of Mayapur, Navadvip, they became very happy. Because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was exhibiting scholarship, devotees were not very happy. But when they saw now Nimai has changed, he is always crying for Krishna. He is asking everyone, where is my Krishna? Where can I see my Krishna? So devotees became very happy. And Advaita Acharya heard this thing, that how Nimai now has been transformed. He is now exhibiting his power of devotion. But still, Advaita Acharya would not go to meet him. He was waiting that whether his Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna, would recognize him or not. So one day, Advaita Acharya was in Mayapur. He was living in Mayapur. Sometimes he would come, stay there, then would go back to Santipur. So he was there, and then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with Gadadhar Pandit to see Advaita Acharya. Gadadhar Pandit was accompanying him. He was his friend, childhood friend. And when both of them came to see Advaita Acharya, and as soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Advaita Acharya, immediately he fainted. So Gadadhar could not understand what happened. And Advaita Acharya understood what has happened. So Gadadhar was very fearful. So immediately he wanted to take care of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He sprinkled some water on his body and chanted the holy name on his ears. So in this way, actually Gadadhar Pandit was trying to revive Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But while Gadadhar was doing this, then Advaita Acharya, because he had understood that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was no other than Krishna himself, so immediately he took this opportunity to worship him. Because Advaita Acharya was superior to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita Acharya was the disciple of Madhavendra Puri. And Ishwara Puri, who was the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was Advaita Acharya's god brother. Naturally, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu respect Advaita Acharya as his spiritual master. So Advaita Acharya knew this thing. If he would try to worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not allow him to do so, because he was his superior. So Advaita Acharya saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has fainted. So this time if I would worship him, then he could not object. He would not object. So then immediately Advaita Acharya started worshipping the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Advaita Acharya, he actually worshipped the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by pouring scented water, and then by Ganga Jal, the water of the Ganges, he poured on his feet to worship his lotus feet. And then he offered pushpa, flowers, at his lotus feet. Then he took tulsi manjari and dipped in chandan, sandalwood pulp. He also offered tulsi manjari at his lotus feet. And then he offered dhupa and panchapradip, doing arti, to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Gadadhar Pandit saw this, he was very surprised. And he asked Advaita Acharya, why are you doing this thing to Nimai? This is not very good, that you are very superior to him and you are worshipping his lotus feet. But Advaita Acharya only smiled because he knew the of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. So he did not respond to Gadadhar Pandit. And then when Gadadhar Pandit was trying to revive Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got back his consciousness and he saw Advaita Acharya, then he offered his obeisances to Advaita Acharya. Because Advaita Acharya was sick. And also, he was disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered Advaita Acharya as his spiritual master, because he was the brother of his spiritual master. So he offered his obeisances at his lotus feet, offered prayers to Advaita Acharya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I am your servant. So please, and bestow Krishna prema on me. I have no love for Krishna. Merciful on me and bestow that love for Krishna. So, in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was praying to Advaita Acharya, showing humility and taking the position of a servant. So this is very astonishing, that both lords, though Advaita Acharya was senior by age, and also he was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, he was thinking, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking Advaita Acharya was his master, and Advaita Acharya was thinking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was his master. So, Advaita Acharya, though he was non-different from Mahavishnu, the same Vishnu Tattva, but he had taken the mood of a servant. This is very surprising, that Krishna, who is the source of all incarnations, he is the Supreme Lord, and everyone else, they think themselves are the servant of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Even Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Indra, all these demigods, they consider themselves as the servant of Lord Krishna. And what to speak of these demigods, even the expansions of Lord Krishna, Vishnu expansions, though they are equal in strength, they have all opulences of the Supreme Lord, all the Vishnu Tattvas. But still, they also think themselves are the servant of Lord Krishna. This is the supreme nature of Lord Krishna. That even other Vishnu Tattvas, they also think themselves are the servant of Lord Krishna. So here Advaita Acharya, though he was non-different from Mahavishnu, still he was thinking himself as the servant of Supreme Lord Krishna. So this is the way how Krishna's supremacy has been established. Even in Brajabhumi, Nanda Maharaj, though he was Krishna's superior, his father, even when Uddhava came, Uddhava told Nanda Maharaj that your son Krishna was not ordinary son. He was the Supreme Lord. But Nanda Maharaj did not accept Uddhav's version that his son was the Supreme Lord. So Nanda Maharaj said to Uddhava, my dear Uddhava, it may be true that my son Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but still he is my son. That was the mood of Nanda Maharaj. That he is my son. He may be Supreme Lord for you or for others, but still he is my son. And I pray to the Supreme Lord that let my mind always be attached at the lotus feet of Krishna. Let my mind be attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. Let my words always chant the holy name of Krishna. And let my hands always serve the lotus feet of Krishna. This was the desire of Nanda Maharaj. Even he was superior and Krishna's father, still he wanted to become servant of Krishna. Then what to speak of other devotees in Braja? Everyone, all the devotees in Braja, though they are in different rasas, still they are all thinking as themselves as Krishna's servants. So here we can see Advaita Acharya, he himself, though he was none other than Mahavishnu, thinking himself as the servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are different pastimes of Sri Advaita Acharya, but we have very short time. We will end it here. Hare Krishna. Jai Sri Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Sri Advaita Acharya Subhavirbhava Tithi Mahotsav ki. Jai Sri Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki. Jai Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. Jai Sri Sri Gaur Nitai ki. Jai Sri Sri Krishna Balaram ki. Jai Sri Sri Radha San Sundaralta Visagadevi ki. Jai Sri Prabhupada Ji Maharaj ki. Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki. Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari.